What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. So beta 18 it's finally here. No, I'm not kidding at all. You can see at the bottom right hand side of my screen right now we've got the overlay. It's not editing, I'm not that good at editing. It's actually there. Now if you're seeing this video, I've posted it at 8 AM my time. I believe beta 18 is going to be releasing or at 12 my time. So just wait a couple of hours and you should have it. So yeah, finally it's here. You know, I've been biting our tongues for a while, and thank you very much to Verboso for finally getting this all out for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pop up on screen a bunch of different changes and read through them all for you. So in terms of fixes for pre-existing systems in the game, we've got fork simulation has been fixed. So that just means now when you land really heavy on a jump, the front end doesn't explode as much as it used to. It's much more manageable than it used to be. Little test right there. Seems to be much more savable. We've also got slow speed legs simulation. So remember before, if you used to crash and like tuck your front end, you'd just kind of like slide sideways or do a 1080 and flip all over the place. That's been worked on and has been almost fully eradicated now. Terrain layers and deformation. So I'm going to do some testing throughout this video and just run some laps and see how the deform changes now. But I'll also throw up on screen a picture of one of Rube's tracks that are in the work with beta 18 in road tested on it, and I think we can all agree it looks absolutely incredible. Really nice, and I'm very excited to see how future races unfold with this new road system in there. We've got live race classification, which not entirely sure what it consists of. I'm not sure if it's to do with the timing and scoring that happens during a race that has been messing up for a while. I have to double check on that. Dedicated server track list loop. This is a really good one. So if you guys are familiar with how MX Simulator multiplayer works, you can set up a server with, let's say, 5 tracks, and the server will just rotate its way through them tracks. That is exactly how this is going to work. So if you have a Dedi server, you can set it up, put a bunch of different tracks on there, and the server will loop its way through those tracks, almost as like quick races. So you've not got to worry about shutting down the server, reopening it again, worrying about game crashes and such. That is a thing of the past. We've got rider font selection. I've not dabbled in that. I'm not too sure what it entails. It all looked very similar to me, but maybe there's some more customization options in there. UI list sort slowdown. So previously, before you load into testing, you can see a full list of all your tracks. If you hold left or right to scroll through them, that has now been slowed down, so you can actually see it. It's a bit more manageable. It used to just go through all of them really quickly, and it would be impossible to know what you're looking at. Also got UI pull down search box as well. So I believe now you can kind of scroll through the tracks rather than having to click the up and down arrows instead. So nice little quality of life change right there. Finally we've got transparent surfaces rendering error, which I'm not too sure of. Maybe you guys that make tracks or have noticed it might know, but I think briefly it's to do with how terrain renders at a certain distance. So if I was flying above the map in free camera, if I was looking way off in the distance over there to like the top of the hills, the terrain would not be loaded in very well. It'd be all jaggedy and horrible. So I believe that has changed there, so you can mess around with the settings and your terrain render distance. So on to the new things. We have got some more realistic lighting. Of course, I'm running the shaders in this video, so it probably covers it completely and you can't really see what's going on, but that is for new track creators to mess around with and experiment with lighting sources and such. So hope you guys find some enjoyment out of that. We've also got external view distance and height settings. So this is going to be really exciting for you third person riders. So if I go into my settings and I go over to simulation tab, here we've got a whole new set of options here. We've got like follow bike, dynamic locked bike. This is all how the camera moves around your third person rider. We can also change the distance and height. So if I want to be super close to my rider and really low down to the ground, I can be. Alternatively, if I want to be really far away, really high up, I can do that as well. And I can't lie, this height is huge in my opinion, because third person, I always hated how you couldn't see the ruts that would come up to you, but now you can actually kind of look over your rider, see the ruts that are coming up. Really good addition. And then we've also got the offset as well, which moves your rider side to side. So lots of extra customization things in there. Feel free to experiment with a bunch of lists as you wish. All of this stuff's weird and wonderful. If I put it on follow bike and I turn, my camera will stay in the middle of the screen following the bike rather than going side to side around the rider like it used to. So you can see it's a subtle change, but it just adds a little bit more customization in there for you, and just tailor it to your needs and what you seem would be best. We've then also got a really good one as well. Over in the miscellaneous section, we've got a whole bunch of new volume settings. So we can now adjust our brakes volume, which I'm probably going to have it on 0 because the squeaking really does my head in. It's really, really annoying. We've got onboard aero volume, which is to do with the wind noises that were default in beta 17, which we had to change in profile.ini. Now we can do this in game. We've got remote bikes volume, so these are bikes of the other riders on the track, not your own. So if you think they're too loud, I know on the starts, for example, when everyone's revving up, the game can get really loud. You can turn that down if you want and just have it separate to your own. And then user interface, this is the same as always, just as you're hovering over things in the menus, it'll give you that little blip sound. So again, really good positive changes. Then moving on, we have got a separate terrain detail setting. So if I go over to graphics in here, we've got another little detail level, and we've also got track screens in here as well, which isn't on these notes that I'm looking at. So if you've ever played on a track like Assen, and you've got the massive TV screen, that can cause a lot of lag for some people. You can turn that off so it doesn't show anything, save you some frames. And alternatively as well, you can change your detail, your terrain detail separately from your models and mix and match as you wish. Really just helps people with PCs that aren't that high end just get the most out of your FPS. We've then got a bike reset delay. Now it's turned off by default, so I can't show you here, but if, for example, let me go back in first person. If I have a really violent crash, let me just try and hit something full force. If I just ram into this pole, it's invisible, hasn't got collisions, right. And if I tried to reset here, it would give me a couple second delay. Now, that is turned off by default. You can turn it on in your profile if you want to have it in testing and single player. You can also turn it on server side if you want to as well. It's all to do with your preference, it's all to do with the server settings. Now, if you have it turned on the server side during races, then when you crash and you go to respawn, it physically will not let you for a couple of seconds. The length of that respawn delay depends on the severity of the crash. So if you just have a really small topple over in a corner, you might have to wait like a single second. If you hit a post, fifth gear whipped at 70 miles an hour, you'll have to wait maybe 3, 4, 5 seconds. So it's all variable. And I think it's a positive change, but it could come with some bugs. So I'm interested to see how it will play out. In my mind, in terms of a simulation, it's nice for people to be penalised a bit more from crashes. But then at the same time, I've just realised I'm playing on the no bumps version because I loaded up the Supercross track. This is awkward. At the same time, oh, this is so weird. I'm going back over to the Supercross track, sorry. Yeah, at the same time, if you get in a server with, let's say, some people that are particularly laggy, I'm just going to throw like Australia and Brazil out there as countries that I know very far away from me, are very laggy when I race against them. And maybe the netcode gets a bit funky and flings you across the map, then of course that's when it's going to be an issue, because you'll be not only penalised by getting into someone with high ping, you'll then be penalised by the game as well and get thrown miles and not be able to reset for a while. So hit and miss. It'll be interesting to see in series like Aerial if they're going to turn it on or if they're just going to leave it off as we have had it. I reckon there could even be a poll at some point, like a 50-50 to see what happens. We've then also got, what else have we got going on? Terrain deformation UI setting. This is a huge one. Let me show you this. I'm very excited for this one. If I go into testing, I can show you straight off the bat. We finally got a deformation slider. So we no longer have to go into profile INI. It's all here. Happy days. I can set it to 0 if I want. I can set it to 20 if I want. 20 is the max in case nobody knew. And just have free reign. I was just running it on 4 to see how the terrain unfolds, and it is quite deep. So personally, I would put it down a little bit lower, maybe at 2 or so if you're playing on your own, just to get a bit more out of your testing session. So you've not got to keep closing the game, changing your profile to INI in your notepad, so on and so forth. And then we've also got the option to remap your escape key to some other button. Maybe you want to put it on your controller, for example. Things that have changed that I don't see on here is like loading times. So in regards to loading times now, the game takes longer to load up on the first load. However, every load after that will be quicker because the game has cached your bikes. Same with multiplayer. The first time you join a multiplayer session, it should take quite a while to load into it. Bear in mind, so let me recorrect that. It doesn't take as long as it used to in beta 17. It takes longer than it used to in our beta 18 tests, but you guys never saw that. So it's quicker to load in now, and then every time after that it is also quicker. The game takes note of which the most used bikes are. It caches them bikes, so it kind of saves them in in there, and then it loads them quicker the next time. So really, really good. And also other things that aren't on here in terms of fixes, we've also got game crashes have now almost been fully eradicated. So that is also when you join servers, the game doesn't crash, I think, at all. All the tests that everyone's done in the beta 18 chats, I don't think anyone's ever had any game crashes joining online servers now, which I know was an absolutely massive headache for everyone. So very happy to see that. That will hopefully make race nights flow a lot better and just make the quick races and all that much more enjoyable as well. And then also we've got crashes in regards to going over berms and ruts and the game crashing on the downside. That is no longer the case either. So really, really good quality of life changes, and I'm very, very excited to see what Perboso and Snap are going to start working on next, because I feel like now we've got the game, like the base game, where it should be in terms of just playability. We can now work on physics and traction and things like that. Traction was actually the original thing that was being worked on for beta 18. However, it went through so many different changes and different directions, and it actually ended up going backwards at one point. I think it just got decided to let's scrap it for now, work on other quality of life stuff, and come back to it in the future. So we'll see how that goes. The Erode, I'm excited to see how it works on multiplayer yet. I've not had the privilege to play with a bunch of different people yet on it, so very excited to see how that unfolds. And I know Stone Riders and a bunch of the other big track makers are going to be very, very happy to see what they can achieve now with these new settings. And I think overall that might do it for me for the video. Thank you very much, first of all, Poso, for letting me do this on so this is a beta, this is a build at the moment that I'm playing on. This isn't obviously the full release. I'm actually recording this before I go away, so I've been told that he wants to release the update at 12 CET time, which is 12, midday Eastern time. And I'm going to be away. So by the time you're watching this, I might be halfway through a 4 or 5 hour car journey on the way to see my girlfriend for about a week or two. You're probably going to see a whole bunch of videos from me over the next week and a half, that probably won't make much sense anymore because they was all recorded prior to beta 18 dropping. So I do apologise for that. I hope you enjoy them regardless, you know. I mean, it's still MX Bikes, it's still the same game, but just some of the comments made obviously won't make much sense anymore now the game's been updated. But I'm very, very happy for this. And now, I suppose the next move, we gotta put our eyes over to the OEM team and see if we can get them beta 18 OEM bikes on the go. Because I've been told that they handle a whole bunch differently to how the beta 17 ones do, so it will essentially be like learning a new game, which I'm super, super excited for. And what an amazing thing to do is release this just after Nations. I was told that we mostly did actually want to release this on the Friday, just gone, or the Saturday, but Rubes and Stone Rider and Insane all said no, please wait until Nations is done, otherwise there'll be absolute carnage. So thank you very much for that and listening. That'll do it from me. Let me know down below what you guys think of this new update, if you've played it yet, or if you're seeing this before it goes live by an hour or two. Are you excited for it? I'm certainly excited. I think there's lots and lots of positive changes in here, and thank you very much for the continued work, Eve. I think some guys give them a little bit too much stick for not working on the game, but they are working on it quite a lot. You just don't always see. I think it's the communication sometimes that lacks a little bit rather than the actual effort. So it's here now. Enjoy it while you can. Hope you guys all enjoy the upcoming videos over the next week or so while I'm away. I will join you all back when I'm back and get to some more live streams on the go and some good times playing this game together. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.